Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 2025 Pan Those Eyeshadows project finale. And this is kind of like the finale of my Pan Those Eyeshadows for the foreseeable future. I am not going to be starting a new one of these projects in January of 2026. I've mentioned this a few times and I know some of you are not going to be happy with me about that. I have a good plan to weave eyeshadow panning into one of my other projects, which I'm going to talk about today. I just don't think it makes sense to continue with the formality of this project at this time, just because I'm not loving wearing eyeshadow like I have in the past, and it's just not as fun to do this project as it has been in the past. For those who are unfamiliar with how this project works, at the beginning of the year I randomly selected 5 eyeshadows from my collection to work on until I hit pan, or I'd hit 20 uses on them. The 20 uses is just kind of an out if I need one. The goal of this project is definitely to hit pan, and once I hit pan I can roll that eyeshadow out and roll another one in its place. It's been an interesting year with this project and eyeshadow panning. I have to say it's been a learning year of like what I like and what I don't like. And what I'm gonna do for this video is walk you all through the current update of where we landed after the usage on the eyeshadows that I've been working on for the last few months. For the month of December, I am filming this a bit early. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve, just because I don't think I'm gonna make much more of a dent in these than I already have. There was one that I wanted to hit pan on. Spoiler alert, that happened. So I felt like it was probably okay to kind of call this now and give you guys a more timely update in the finale. I know in the past couple of years, my finales for this project have popped up on your feeds in January. So we're ahead of the game a little bit here today. So I'm gonna talk through kind of where things stand today. We'll go through the numbers. We'll talk about all the pans that I've hit this year compared to last year. And then I'll tell you what I am planning to do with eyeshadows moving forward. So without further ado, I feel like we have plenty to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting first with my Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette. Let's just start with the good news. I hit pan on Comfort Zone. I've been working on this shadow for a long time, so I'm super excited to finally have hit pan on this. I wore this a lot this past month, just like in my outer half of my lid, like almost as a liner, but I'm using like a smudger brush, so it's picking up a little bit more. I honestly wore several shadows that way and I've really enjoyed it. I'm wearing Ladies Night that way today. And so it was just an easy way to get like a precise pickup of this eyeshadow, and it was just a really pretty way to wear this, honestly. I've really enjoyed it. And just using like a little bit of whatever's left on the brush to drag it down onto my like lower lash line a little bit. I really like how this eyeshadow look has actually been very flexible. I'm excited about this one because I feel like it's not too much, but it gives me a little bit more depth to my eyes. So really excited about that. And I only needed to use it 6 times to hit pan. This one I feel like has been a long time coming. We're gonna kind of fly through the rest of the updates, but the next one that I want to talk about is My Man. This one I used one time. I've basically been using this as a blush since pretty much the beginning of this project. I think for the first couple months, I tried to use My Man as an eyeshadow and just really did not enjoy it. It was too much, it was too bright, it was just not the way that I was wearing eyeshadows. And so I mentioned this to all of you and you were like, hey, try it as a blush. It's been really pretty as a blush. Honestly, I think I might pick it up just on its own in the future to wear as a blush. I've really enjoyed it. The number is low in terms of usage because I've been focused on other blushes that I've been working on in my project pan and my Shop My Stash project pan. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I actually really enjoyed this one as a blush. A little bit of went a very long way too. So very pigmented and it was very pretty. So happy that you all inspired me to use it that way, and I was able to use it for this full 12 months, I think, or close to it, and get the usage on it that I did, because otherwise I really wouldn't have, had you all not told me to try it as a blush. And then last in this palette is this one right here called Talia. And I used this one 5 times. And this month it's pretty much just been used as an inner corner highlight. I think it's super pretty as an inner corner highlight. I've really enjoyed it as that. And I just pick it up on one of my brushes and plop it in the inner corner, so it's a little subtle. I like the gold sparkle that it gives, so it's been easy to use as an inner corner highlight, and I've enjoyed having it in this project. Now, as soon as I hit pan on Comfort Zone, I really started devoting more attention to Legacy, which is coming from my Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I used this one 6 times as well, and it was really nice because I was just kind of wearing it the same way I was wearing Comfort Zone and the same way I mentioned that I'm wearing Ladies Night today, and I just really kind of focused it on the outer half of my lid, and I really liked wearing it that way. It was super easy, and honestly, it's something that I'm like, okay, post this project, I might still continue wearing this shadow in that way because it's just a really super easy look, but it gives the eyes a little bit of extra something. So I've really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that I got the 6 uses there. And then I also used Ladies Night from my Kathleen Lights Disco Fox palette with Il Makiage twice in the same way. So I'm wearing this today, and this one's been really nice to use like that as well. So I'm glad I found like a look that I feel like is very versatile, that can be worn with like several different types of eyeshadows and different colors of eyeshadows, but not feel like too much on the lids. Now, you're not making a ton of progress because it is a lot of times just like a one eyeshadow look and you don't need a ton of eyeshadow. That's not great if you're trying to make progress in a project, but it is a good way for me to just be incorporating my eyeshadows. When we jump into the numbers, I have 238 eyeshadows, 12 of them are single, 226 of them are across 13 different palettes. And with this pan, my number of pans went from 39 to 40, so super excited that I've hit the 40 number, which brought my pan percentage from 16.38% to 16.8%. So really excited about that increase in pan percentage and just increase in pans in my collection in general. Also nice to kind of hit that round number of 40 to end this project on, I guess. So let's also talk about the shadows that I hit pan on this year through this project. So I didn't hit pan on any eyeshadows outside of this project this year, but I did hit pan on 4 eyeshadows that are from this project. I hit this one, I think like the first month of this project, from my ABH Nouveau palette, the shade right here called Metro. This actually had been a part of my 2024 Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I randomly rolled it into 2025. And so it was a pretty easy one to hit pan on at the beginning of the year. Mostly use that one as a crease shade. And then my next 2 eyeshadows came from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 1 palette. The first one is this shimmer shade Obsessed. Pretty easy to kind of wear as an inner corner highlight or all over the lid. And then I also hit pan on Butter, which I was just using that as a crease shade. So again, very similar to Comfort Zone with Butter there. And then obviously my last one and my 4th pan of the year from this project came from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette. It's the one I just hit pan on that I mentioned, and that is Comfort Zone. Compared to last year I hit pan on 5 eyeshadows from my Pan Those Eyeshadows versus this year I hit 4, but I also had hit pan on 2 eyeshadows outside of my Pan Those Eyeshadows. So last year I hit pan on a total of 7 different eyeshadows. This year my total is just 4. And last year at the end of the year, my pan percentage was 15.12%. And this year my pan percentage, like I said, is 16.8%. I did not buy any new eyeshadows this year, and I also did not declutter any eyeshadows this year. So it's been pretty clean in terms of what the update is in my eyeshadow collection. All right, so where are we at in terms of what does next year look like? I have thoroughly enjoyed this project over the years. This used to be my absolute favorite panning project. I loved randomly rolling different eyeshadows in. I thought it was so fun. It kind of took the pressure off me. I didn't have to pick anything. I just got to roll them in and figure out new ways to wear them. It's just wasn't as fun this year because I wasn't as into eyeshadow. I have a ton of eyeshadow in my collection, so I was like, I need to figure out another way to make the most of that. I don't want to just have all of these eyeshadow palettes sitting for a year and me not touching them at all. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of do a little bit of the best of both worlds. You can look for eyeshadow updates in my Shop My Stash series. And if you're unfamiliar with how I run my Shop My Stash project pan, it's really just like a usage project pan. I have to use everything that I roll into that at least 5 times before I roll it out, which I try to hit within the month that I give myself to work on those products. What I'd like to do at each Shop My Stash refresh is basically select an eyeshadow from my collection that I want to work on. So I get to pick any eyeshadow that I want to work on, and then I also want to randomly select an eyeshadow from my collection to work on. So just 2 eyeshadows every month. There is no goal to hit pan. The goal is, again, just around usage, but it incorporates still that random appeal that I love because I'm randomly rolling one in, but it also lets me kind of have a little bit of say-so in the one that I choose. And so it gets me working on eyeshadows and using eyeshadow at least 10 times in the month. That's the goal. And that keeps like progress up on my collection. I can kind of select different ones to roll in. One of the things with my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan is like, sometimes I feel like I'm stuck using the same eyeshadow palettes over and over and over again because that's what's randomly getting rolled in. So I'll get the say-so, at least on one of those, to which one to roll in. I can also take a look at my collection and be like, oh, I'm really close to hitting pan on this one, and work on that to try and hit pan. I think this is gonna be really good. So definitely tune into those videos if you like the eyeshadow updates. I know it's a bit different and it's a bit of a departure from where my channel has been because this has been a consistent monthly update for the last several years. But it's just, you know, it's not goodbye. I think it's just a pause for right now until maybe I get more back into eyeshadow and wearing it more, but at least I'm still gonna be incorporating those. So hopefully you're happy with kind of the new way I'm thinking about it. It still incorporates a lot of the elements of this project that we know and love, but makes it a little bit more doable for me. And I think it's gonna be more fun because, as you know, this channel's just a hobby for me. It's just supposed to be fun. And so I wanna make sure that I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I think this new plan for next year is gonna be really fun and really enjoyable, which is, you know, all that I could ask for. So I'm very proud of the progress that I made this year, even with all of the struggles that I had with using eyeshadows. And I hope you all enjoyed this series and also enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I thank you all so much for watching. I hope you are all enjoying your holiday season if you celebrate, and maybe taking some time off of work and just spending some time with family and friends. I sure am. And thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye.